Hi, everybody. Happy day. What day is it? It's Tuesday. Thank you for coming to class, whether you're here live or later watching this, and it might not even be a Tuesday. This is a 30-minute practice. Our theme for practice is strong back, open heart. Physically, that means back bends and a lot of like chest and heart opening. And the theme that goes with it, I'll let you guess, but you'll hear. In terms of props for class, optional 2 yoga blocks. We're going to do some kneeling lunges. If it's more comfortable for you to have something that helps bring the ground a little closer to you, grab 2 blocks, 2 shoe boxes. Even like the seat of a chair will work if you put a chair in front of your mat. And we're going to start laying down on our stomachs in crocodile pose. If you have a really tight low back, grab a blanket to put underneath your like lower abdomen or pelvis. So crocodile pose is where we get started. Grabbing my own. Oh, there's a playlist linked below. And if you would like to listen to it, I'm going to press play right now. We don't need to be perfectly synced up. Don't worry about it. Okay, now we're getting started in crocodile pose, which is laying down flat on your stomach. I'll show you with the blanket in case this ends up feeling better to you. Just like so. Make it as thick or as thin as you need. This just helps take some of put some more support underneath where the curve of your low back is. If laying down flat on your stomach just feels like a little too much. So you stack your palms on top of each other, rest your forehead down on your hands. Start to let your whole body just grow heavier here. You might just take a couple big, slow, full breaths. Letting yourself enjoy the feeling of having stopped. The feeling of having nothing to do. You've made it to your mat. Some days that really is the hardest part. So acknowledge your effort already just by being here. You might notice it's kind of hard to breathe when you're laying on your stomach like this. So we'll practice some diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing here, using the biofeedback of your stomach against the mat to help engage the breath. So as you inhale through your nose, fill up your low belly like you're pressing your belly button into the mat. When you've reached full capacity, let that breath out nice and slow through your mouth and feel your body deflate like a balloon. Again, like that, drawing the breath in through your nose, filling up your low abdomen, feeling the diaphragm drop. As you let that breath go, soften your body and release. Take about 5 more breaths like this on your own. Challenge yourself to breathe as fully and as deeply as you're able to. This is a great reset position in the middle of the day if you're feeling overwhelmed. Try 5 breaths like this next time. See how that shifts things for you. Good, no rush here. I've got 1 more breath. Awesome job. If you've got the blanket underneath your belly, go ahead and come up onto your forearms and remove it. Set it off to the side, come back onto your stomach just for a moment. Slide your left leg up into half frog, so your thigh is perpendicular to your torso. You've got your ankle underneath your knee, foot is flexed. Just a little opening for the hip, but we're really going to take this into a nice twist. So come up onto your palms. Make your right arm underneath the bridge of your left arm. Reach it as far across as you can. And then open the left arm like a big rainbow into a nice twist. my gosh, I think every vertebrae in my back just popped. Good. And you can stay like this, hold, and just enjoy this opening across the front of the left shoulder. Maybe you kind of just move the left elbow, left arm around, exploring that openness. It's up to you. Take 3 breaths here. Here comes Donkey. Hey, girl. Hi. Good. And when you're all done, we will return back to center. Hi. And find this on the other side. So as you're ready, slide your right leg up, thigh perpendicular to your torso, ankle under knee. Come up onto your hands. This time the left arm goes through the bridge of the right, and with a big inhale, windmill your right arm all the way open. And again, here, enjoy 3 breaths. Maybe you find movement, maybe you stick with stillness. Maybe you just enjoy a sigh out your mouth because life is difficult and it feels good to sigh. And when you're all done, come back to center. And we'll find Sphinx pose here. So arms are like the number 11, shoulders right over your elbows. If this feels like a little too much for your back as we're just warming up, put your elbows a little in front of your shoulders. Legs can be as wide or as narrow as feels good. Find a little bit of engagement through your upper back here, our first little bit of effort. Push your elbows down into the mat and gently draw them back towards your hips. You might feel that activation through your mid back, maybe your upper back. And think about shining your heart forward, or maybe imagine that a string is connected to your sternum, pulling you slightly up. So it's got this big, broad chest. From here, actively push your hands down into the ground. The back is working, heart is open. Find any movement with your neck that feels good. We'll be here for several breaths. Just notice how engaged your glutes are here. If they're clenched, see if you might relax them a little. We're looking for some light engagement to support the lower back, but nothing too crazy. And the theme we're working with for class today is finding an open heart and a strong back. And like physically, to do a back bend, yes, you need to have a lot of openness across the front of your chest, but in order to move safely in this way, your back needs to be able to support that bend. I know this is the time of year that a lot of us are like, oh good, life is finally slowing down, maybe a little bit. But it's just as important as ever to stay connected to your own sense of boundaries about your time and your energy. That strong backbone of whatever you need for yourself that gives you the capacity to be open in the ways that you want to be. And when you're all done with that, let your chest fall down to the ground. Slide your palms down to your lowest ribs. Kiss the mat. We'll find some cobras here. As you inhale, dig your toenails into the ground. Peel your heart up and forward. Little to no weight in your hands. Gaze straight down so the back of your neck is long. And imagine you're holding a pencil between your shoulder blades. Squeeze it as tight as you can. One more breath here. And as you exhale, lower to the mat. Let's do 3 like that, moving with the breath. Inhale, cobra. Cricket your elbows behind you. And exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Strengthen your upper back. Open your heart. Exhale, lower. Last one here. Big breath in. And breathe out. Awesome. Child's pose. Toes touch. Knees open wide. Fingertips crawl forward. Take 3 big breaths here, filling up your upper back. Notice any warmth, maybe a little tension in the upper back as we just gave it its first little bit of work today. Maybe it feels good to kind of swish your hips from side to side here. Claw your fingertips over towards the right side, finding a big stretch through your left side body. And claw through to the other side, finding a stretch on the right. Good. Return to center, crawl onto all fours. I'm going to set a timer for 90 seconds. And this is an invitation to move your spine in any way that feels really good to you here. So we've got cat and cow, dropping your belly, dragging your heart forward, then rounding through the spine, tucking your chin. Could stick with that for as long as feels good. Maybe you play with swishing the hips side to side, gazing back at one ankle and the other, bringing that C curve into the spine. Good. Keeping the breath big and full. Another option if you're feeling really tense through the hips is you have more like child's pose legs. And you move from kind of like a lifted child's pose, walk the hands forward a handprint, and king cobra, where you roll over your knees onto the tops of your legs. And then it might feel nice to windshield wipe your feet side to side. If you have a really tight low back, this might not feel great. You've got 30 more seconds to explore whatever feels good to you here. If you feel comfortable, close your eyes, let your breath and your intuition guide you. There is no wrong way to move like this. Got about 10 more seconds. Good, awesome job. Come back to all fours. When you're ready, downward facing dog, tuck your toes, walk your hands forward, at least a handprint, lift your hips up to the sky. This might be your very first down dog of the day, so pedal out your legs. Maybe surf your heels from side to side. Think about sending your hips up to where the ceiling and the wall meet behind you. And you can strengthen your back here by spreading your fingers wide, rotating your hands out just a little so that your index finger points straight forward. Grip at the mat with your finger pads and the big knuckles that connect your fingers to your hands. Push the ground away to lengthen your spine. And then spread your shoulder blades broad across your back. Think about hugging your biceps or rotating your armpits in towards your face. And then push the ground away. 2 more breaths here. Anyone who tells you down dog is a resting pose is crazy. Definitely a back and shoulder strengthener. So take a big breath in. As you exhale, walk your feet forward towards your hands. Find ragdoll pose. Legs are as wide as feels good. Let your torso hang heavy. Option to do whatever feels good here. I invite you to find a chest expansion. Interlace your hands at your low back. Move towards straightening your arms, lifting your fists or your hands up towards the sky. Finding that opening across the shoulders. If you think you're relaxing your neck and your shoulders, can you relax them even more? 1 more big breath in. As you exhale, release the bind with control. Fingertips come back to the ground. Wiggle your feet more like hip width distance apart, so like 2 to 3 fists in between your feet. Bend your knees ever so slightly. As you inhale, halfway lift, find a long, straight back. We're gonna hold here for a moment. Bring your hand to your low back. Notice if you've got this like big sway in the low back, push your low back into your hands. Bring your other hand onto your tummy. Hug your belly button up and in. And now bring your hands back either to the tops of your thighs or to your shins. Either is fine. Find a little traction of your hands against your legs So you can draw your shoulder blades together and down your back. Gaze straight down so the back of your neck is long. Take a breath in. As you exhale, fold forward, release. Let's do 2 more like that. Inhale, halfway lift. It's like a little deadlift. Legs are super active, spine is long. Exhale, fold. Last one, inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Going all the way up this time. Inhale, mountain pose. Press your feet down, reach up high. Exhale, hands to heart center. Draw your crown higher. Good. Inhale, mountain, reach up high. Exhale, goal post your arms, find a little back bend. Squeeze your glutes. Think about lifting your heart up. Good. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, fold forward, soften your knees. Inhale, halfway lift, strong back. Exhale, forearm plank. Bring your palms to the ground, step back, then come down onto your forearms. Clasp your hands together in front of you so your elbows make a little triangle. Good, hold and breathe here. In addition to being great for your core, forearm plank is a great way to build stability through your shoulders and your upper back. So we're here for just a couple breaths. Just like in Sphinx pose, push your elbows into the ground and drag them back towards your hips. Push the ground away from you, gaze straight down, take a big breath in. As you exhale, dolphin pose. Pike your hips up. This is like down dog with forearms. Walk your feet in. Just try it. See how it feels. Shoulders are still super active as your elbows press into the ground. And then with control, you can bring one hand onto the ground and the other for downward facing dog. This is our Sun A. We're going to move through it 2 times. If the dolphin, like the forearm down dog, was like just more than you're looking for right now, that's what I'm going to cue, but you can do a regular plank to down dog or a forearm plank to down dog. It's up to you. Take a big breath in. Big breath out. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, long, straight spine. Exhale, fold. All the way up. Inhale, mountain pose. Strengthen your legs. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, back bend, cactus your arms. Good. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, high plank, then down to forearm plank. Hold for a full breath in. And a full breath out. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, dolphin pose. Pike your hips, walk your feet in any amount. Option to hold here for a full round of breath or go straight to down dog. Breathe in. And breathe out. If you're still in dolphin, press your palms into the mat to down dog. Inhale, look forward. Last time through. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, mountain, come up high. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, back bend. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, high plank to forearm plank. Last one here, invitation to do some hip dips. It's just an option. You can hold steady or go to a regular plank too. If you want to try this, you just drop your hips off to one side and then back up. And then drop the other, whoo, and lift up. If you're with me, let's do 2 more on each side. Continue to breathe. Doing amazing. Last one. Inhale here. Exhale. Last option for dolphin. Push your elbows down, pike your hips up. Breathe in. Breathe out. Make your way to downward facing dog if you're in dolphin. Whew. All right, last little bit of work and then we'll start to wind things down. Inhale, kick your right leg up high. Exhale, bend your knee, open up your hip. You're here for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, step it through to a low lunge. It's okay if it takes you a couple steps to get there. Your foot is between your hands, or if you need more space here, both of your hands can be inside your right foot. It's up to you. All toes are tracking straight forward. As you inhale, high crescent lunge, rise straight up. Now take a minute to adjust your legs as you need to. You might shorten your stance. You might widen your feet apart from each other. What's important is that all toes are going in the same direction, and align your hips to go forward as well. So bring your hands to your hips. Move your left hip more forward, right hip more back. Option to drop a little bend into the left knee if this feels better through your pelvis. Inhale, reach your arms up high. Exhale, find a back bend. Same thing as when we were standing. It's more about lifting the heart, finding this W with the arm. Option to find 3 more of these. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, little back bend. Squeeze your back glute for support. Good. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale, back bend. Last one. You got it. Inhale. And exhale. Lift your heart up. You got it. Good. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, low lunge. Bring your hands onto the ground. Find runner's lunge, where this time your hands are definitely on the inside of the right leg. We got lots of options here. If it feels really nice to keep the back leg up, go for it. I'm gonna lower my back knee down. And from here, we've got right leg out forward. You could send your right toes off towards the right, opening up the knee. Find a little like gentle pulsing here, really opening through the right hip. Or if you really like the half splits to lunge movements we do sometimes, you can just start to rock yourself back and forth here. This is where the blocks might be helpful, just an aid to reach the ground. Whether you're staying static in a runner's lunge or finding this movement, we've got about 3 more breaths here. Good. Finish up your last round if you're moving. We'll meet together in a low lunge. Lift your back leg up, and take a breath in. As you exhale, step back to downward dog. Notice the difference in your hips as your legs are back together here. And we'll go ahead and even out the sides. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, bend your knee, open up your hip. You're here for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Take a couple steps if you need. Foot comes between your hands or outside both hands if you need the space. Inhale, high crescent lunge. Keep the strong lunge in the front knee. Come on up. Before we find those same back bends on this side, make sure this is a steady foundation where you can kind of open up from. So adjust your feet as you need, hands to your hips, move right hip forward, left hip back. Maybe you add a little bend to the back knee. Before we start moving, squeeze your back glute. Notice that opening across the front of the right hip. With both legs strong and pressing down into the ground, inhale, both arms high. Exhale, W your arms, lift your heart. 3 more, inhale, reach the arms high. Exhale, back bend. Inhale, reach, keep the lunge, you got it. Exhale, back bend. Last one here, inhale. Exhale, back bend, lift your heart, so good. Inhale, up high. Exhale, hands to the floor, making your way to your runner's lunge. Both hands inside the left foot. Option to keep the back leg lifted, drop it down. Maybe you work the left foot at a little more of an angle. You can open the hip this way. Same option on this side to play with half split into the lunge, whatever feels best in your body in this moment. Take 2 more rounds of breath. Finish up your last round if you're moving. We'll meet together in a low lunge. Lift the back leg up, take a breath in. Exhale, down dog. Last down dog, take a big breath in. As you exhale, child's pose. Lower to your knees, toes touch, knees wide, forehead to the earth. As we start to wind things down here, notice the way your body is feeling after so much movement, a little effort. Maybe you notice your mood has shifted a little. Maybe you're feeling a little more calm or present. Maybe you're not feeling any of those things. That's okay to notice too. Move into our final wind down here on our off ramp to a nice little Savasana. Rock yourself forward back onto your belly, just like we started. I invite you to find shoulder pigeon. So send your right arm straight out at your side, like the letter capital T. And start to roll onto the shoulder, bringing your left leg behind you, maybe also called scorpion. You can adjust your shoulder as needed so that it feels like a nice opening for you across your pec and your shoulders. You might use your left hand on the ground to help bring just a little bit more pressure into the shoulder, but don't push it if it hurts. Relax and breathe here. When you're ready, come back to center. We'll do that on the left side. Left arm goes straight out. Start to rock onto the left shoulder. Right toes come back behind you. You might rest your head on the ground or keep it lifted. You might press into this right hand on the ground for a little more support and intensity. Breathe. I'd come back to center. When you're all situated here, roll over onto your back. So we're just flipping over. We'll do some sets of bridges here, which are also a back bend, but with your back physically back down against the ground. I want you to really feel the support provided by the ground beneath you and notice how that maybe changes the way you experience the back bend or the lift of the hips. Bring your hands onto the ground, wiggle your heels a little closer to your butt. As you inhale, push into your feet, lift your hips up. Maybe you wiggle your shoulder blades underneath your back, just a little. Breathe here. And from the stability provided by the ground, the earth beneath you, what sensation or intention of opening can you find? A couple more breaths. Take a breath in here. And as you exhale, lower all the way down, one vertebrae at a time. Knock your knees together, bring your feet wider to the edges of your mat. Bring one hand onto your heart, the other onto your belly. Observe your breath here. Feel your heart beating. Trace the line of your spine against the ground and let your back relax. For pigeon pose on your back, bring your feet parallel to each other. Right ankle crosses over the left knee. Flex your right toes back towards your shin so your foot is active. Maybe this is enough for you. If you'd like a little more for the outer right hip and glute, bring your legs towards you and grab for the back of your left thigh. Breathe. Allow your body to soften as you start to rest. When you're ready, switch out your sides. Left ankle over the right knee. Find whatever feels best on this side as you continue to breathe. And when you're all done, bring your knees into your chest. Find happy baby. Both feet go towards the sky. Grab for the backs of your thighs, backs of your knees, maybe your ankles. Find any last movement here as we prepare for our final resting pose, Savasana. Hug your knees into your chest. Pull yourself into a teeny tiny ball. Take one more breath of air. As you exhale, unwind. Maybe you find corpse pose, your arms and legs out. For more support in the lower back, find broken bridge again, where your knees knock together, feet wide. Enjoy a couple sighs as you release any effort. And as you rest in silence for just a couple minutes, I invite you to trace your body in your mind, starting at the top of your head, moving all the way down to your toes, inviting each part of your body to release and soften down into the support beneath you. Keep breathing. Bring your attention back to your breath or the sensations in your body anytime your mind wanders away. And I'll wake you up in just a couple moments. If it feels good to rest like this, please stay as long as you can. This is so good for our nervous system. If you're ready to be guided out, start to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Start to inch your way towards bigger movements and a big full body stretch. Take your time, move slowly, preserving any sense of peacefulness you're resting in. And when you do find this big stretch, take a moment to acknowledge the space you've cultivated in your body. Just the power of 30 minutes of attention and breath. Roll onto one side. You can press yourself up to a tall seat. We'll close with 3 big breaths together. Sitting up nice and tall. As you breathe in, sweep your arms up high. Maybe look up, length on both sides. Exhale, hands to heart center. Lengthen through your crown. 2 more. Breathe in. Breathe out, release. And 1 more time. Breathe in. Biggest breath of all Tuesday. And your biggest breath out as you let something go. Lift your thumbs up to third eye center. May all beings everywhere be happy, healthy, safe, and free. Thank you so much for sharing this practice. All right. Thank you for coming to class. I hope you're feeling nice and good. We'll be back next week with another 30-minute practice. So I'll see you then. Take good care. Thanks again for coming. Bye.